Good afternoon, Shepaug. Thank you, very nice. I am very excited to be your principal today for so many reasons, but the most important reason is one of our graduates, whose name is Joe Moravsky. I had the pleasure, and I've had the pleasure of his sisters in our school, but Joe graduated before my time. However, I knew who Joe was very early on, because when there was weather that was anticipated, whether it be a snowstorm or something else, I would hear the teacher saying, we have to go on Facebook and look at Joe's page, because Joe was our weatherman. That name that you hear on American Ninja Warriors is real. He truly is a weatherman. When Joe was a student at Shepaug, he was a very good athlete, but he won some awards, and many more awards eluded him. But guess what he did instead? What he did was he found his passion, predicting the weather and meteorology. I'll be back. He found his passion in college. He used that passion to turn into a career, and then he took his love of sports and a whole big dose of courage and joined American Ninja Warriors. Often, when you hear about Joe on the show, you'll hear that he's not the biggest guy, and maybe he's a guy who's kind of unassuming. We don't always know that he's going to be this big presence. Guess why he's a big presence on television and in our auditorium? Because he has courage and a hard work ethic. Remember when I tell you, Spartans never quit? Joe is about to tell you that this Spartan never will quit. And I welcome Joe Moravsky.
Wow. She got me teared up there. It is so nice to hear that. To have you guys here. Oh wow, I had no intention of this. It is just to be here in this school again, but to be up here instead of right there. Like this is almost the reason why I've found life is worth it. You know, this is one of those moments for me. And I'm happy you're experiencing it with me. Man. Life here at Shepaug had its ups and downs. I mean, it's high school after all. Freshmen, you guys are at the bottom of the food chain. I was there. It was tough, trying to make a name for myself. Seniors, you're at the top. You're headed out, going to college. Woo! Hopefully going to college. Trust me, it's better if you do. If you don't have plans for it yet, it doesn't mean you're never going to go. And I would recommend you do look into it at some point if you're not. But I'll tell you what, my life, not only here at Shepaug, but since middle school, elementary school, there's one thing that kind of jumps out at me now. I didn't realize it until recently, actually, is that I feel like the reason I'm here is because of, well, there's a few things, but I think the biggest thing is my competitive nature. Like Matt Parachi, Mr. Parachi, when I was in high school here, we played basketball with him. He was our coach, and I get fired up. And it's almost hard to contain myself when I'm playing basketball. You know, in basketball, you always have that element of trash talking sometimes. I was not much of a trash talker, don't worry. But it happens, and it's more of the energy and the time and everything you put into it. And So I was just a really super competitive person, and I see that kind of translate out onto the course. And actually, I almost have to be more reserved, because the ninjas are not like that. You know, they're very reserved. They are to themselves sometimes. We're very friendly with each other, just like you see on the show. That's not fake. You know, we love each other. I'd say 99% of us are very friendly. There's always that 1% that's kind of, leave me alone, I'm doing my own thing. Kind of like my cousin. I apologize that you had to see him. Don't quote that. Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, they tell him to say a lot of things and do a lot of things to make him look kind of like that bad guy. And he's willing to do that, so don't be so judgmental from what you see on TV. But most of it is true. Most of it. And I feel like having my sports background throughout my entire life really helped me for this show. And I went to college with a desire to be a professional athlete. And I thought it was possible. My father, my mother are amazing athletes. My sisters, holy cow, crushing it here more than I did, that's for sure. And they just made a name for themselves even earlier than I did. And I'll tell you what, my peak wasn't until after high school. I was in college. I was trying to be a meteorologist, an on-air meteorologist, a weatherman. And I wanted to do sports also, and that was the challenge. You know, having a dream is necessary. I really think so. But I had two dreams, and they were equal. And it's so hard, even to today, and I'll get into it in a little bit, but having two dreams was so hard, and I had to give up one. And I was like, all right, now's the time. I'm a freshman. I'll try for the baseball team. I made the baseball team, but I was committed to meteorology. And I made that choice. I was like, Coach, I can't do it. And he was like, I hate to see you go, but I understand. And that was it. And I thought that was the end of my dream. I thought that, you know, sports were over. You know, I'm now just like any other guy that just left school and is living in the real world. And I reached a point where, you know, I had to do some sort of sports. So I was doing scholastic, what is it called? Yeah, thank you. Just basketball, not on the team. And I realized that I can't let this dream go yet. And the second I graduated college, it was perfect timing. A buddy of mine was on the show, and I saw him at a birthday party for one of my coworkers, and we discussed it for hours. I was hooked. I watched the show. Do you guys watch? Have you ever seen the Japanese version of the show, Sasuke?
Yeah.
Really awesome. And the announcer's the craziest, speaking Japanese, freaking out all the time. If you've never seen it, you should look at it on YouTube once. And it's just like the show, I was hooked. And so I tried out for the show, and as I was applying for the show, I wanted to showcase what I can do. You know, I wanted to show them the backflips. All that cool stuff. That was an accident. I caught that by accident, but pretend I didn't. You know, I wanted to showcase all that cool stuff. But I realized that, actually my uncle helped me realize that that's not who I am. You know, I am, as nerdy as it's gonna sound, a weatherman. Why not show them that? And I was like, that's why you're making so much money. Okay. So, sure enough, I put that in my submission video. They loved it. I was on American Ninja Warrior, and that was it. And you know, my time on the show has been amazing. I've had so many opportunities. You're gonna see. I'm gonna show you in a little bit. Just coming up so close, but just falling short. And hopefully this year is different. I do know what's gonna happen. I'll answer that question for you now. We did film this prior, but just pretend I don't. It's more fun that way. So if you want to ask questions later about it, feel free. I won't answer some if I can't. So don't ask, did you win? I won't answer that. But anyway, the show, I mean, it's been awesome. And I've had so much support from friends and family and past schools that I've been to, and old teachers, not old teachers. Stitz. Where is he? Hi, Stitz. He's gonna hit me later. Stitz is awesome, huh? Is he still as awesome as he was when I was here? I love Stitz. So, I want to show you kind of what happened in the last few years. If you're not familiar with the show, it's just this intense obstacle course. I've been so close for the last few years. I've had a lot of opportunities that have come from the show. I had a commercial I got to shoot with the Weather Channel. One of the coolest opportunities of my life. I went down to Atlanta, Georgia, and we filmed that for a few days. Wow, was that an experience. And I have some really cool opportunities coming up soon. Hopefully I'll be endorsed by some pretty big companies. It's hard though, because on the show they don't allow logos. That's why I have my own shirts made sometimes. Actually all the time. Because we don't get paid on the show. There's a lot of little things that you don't know probably, but. So I want to show you this. This was season 5, my first year. You press play. And yeah, just me kind of coming up a little short. I won't talk about it too much, but this is one of the obstacles that took me out in season 5, my rookie year, stage 3, Mount Midoriyama.
Has been able to handle the floating board. This is clearly not the obstacle where you want your hands to be hurting. Joe needs to use his feet to take a lot of his body weight off his hands. Looks like he's figuring out the floating boards. Great use of the lower body, pinching those feet in. He looks like he might be doing it. Just one floating board away from the end of this obstacle. No sooner do we see it than...
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, just show it again. That's great.
Comes to a splashing end.
So, I mean, that happened, I can tell you now after watching. I didn't know at the time what happened. I thought I wasn't strong enough. And I think maybe that had a little bit to do with it, but that third board, I really didn't use my feet. You're supposed to have your feet like pinched, like you do the butterfly stretch. And it was poor technique. And honestly, when I got to stage 3, I had done most of the obstacles, and I was like, I've never really done the floating board, so we'll wing it. Yeah, that didn't end up well. But next year, go to the next tab, just press escape and go to the next tab. The year after, I had trained more, obviously. That's before that. This was kind of the run that I guess we could say gave me more national recognition, which was awesome. Like a lot of people, there was a buzz, like, did you see the guy that broke the course? I'm like, I broke the course? I mean, I guess, but they hyped it up a lot. And so I wanted to show you this. We can kind of fast forward to the back half of the course, maybe just click.
There's Joe's new wife, Stephanie. We'd all like to say to them, congratulations. See cousin Rob, the Adonis.
That's my cousin.
Here tonight. He is amped up, as always, encouraging his cousin. Let me tell you, not a green screen.
All right, we'll leave it at this.
He is putting on a clinic right now. Moravsky, a little hung up here at the end of the double tilt ladder. Look at how calm he looks. Look at how relaxed he is. And right up the wall.
That's a 14-foot warp wall, by the way.
That was easy. Even faster than the time in qualifying he had, which was the fastest we saw. Now his wife is telling him to take his time, but Joe is not having any of it. Good job calming his body. Right up it. Wow, that's impressive. Look at him beasting his way through, utilizing big swings of the lower body to power the dice down the track. I like that. Well, as fast as he got, Moravsky's already punched his ticket back to Las Vegas, but he is not done. The fastest time is on the line, and Moravsky, unbelievable! He broke the rumbling dice, and Moravsky is enough. Not sure what he's going to do here. And the dice uneven, he goes for the distance, and he made it!
So, yeah, that was intense.
Phenomenal.
I still don't really know what happened. I was on the obstacle, and I know it has safety wires on it, but it was also on this track that had little boundaries set up, like maybe an inch of like a small piece of steel or something on the edges. So the track it rolled down the side of each of them. And I think my swing started to get a little circular because the rule was, and this is how I like to bend the rules, stints, and just, find ways around rules. So they said you can't slide the rumbling dice, you have to roll it. So I decided I would get a big swing, and as I rolled it, it would slide. See? And so what ended up happening was I think my swing started to get a little circular, and just, I got unlucky, or lucky, And as I went to turn it, my body was going backwards, and I pulled it over that lip, which was insane. I had no idea what happened at the time. But if you watch the video later, my hands didn't even move. I was glued to that thing. So I had trained very well that year. I knew what I was doing. And then when we got to the Vegas finals, which is the next one here, this was heartbreaking because I had went the furthest in the country. We'll have to scroll up. I think this is the video, right? Yeah, so this was the video I went the furthest in the country. This was last year. And it's funny, I trained all the obstacles except the last two. I figured I'd wing it, like I said the year before. So let's see what happens. We'll fast forward to, we can fast forward to the floating boards where I fell last year.
There's Stephanie and the rest of Joe's family, including the Adonis. Come on, Joe! Ellen Hall hoping to see Joe succeed where he fell short earlier. Right through him! And you can feel the crowd hanging on his every move. Let's see what Moravsky can do here, what he's learned from his mistakes. He told me he's going to use his legs better this year on these boards, and he's doing it, just pinching the door between the soles of his shoes. Swinging a little bit, but only one board to go. This is exactly where he fell last year. Look at that on the final board, trying to use those last two boards to build up some momentum. It's windy out here, but he's done it. Moravsky, a personal best, getting through the floating board. To survive this obstacle. You can hear it, his primal scream. Come on, Joe. Look at Stephanie. She looks more nervous than Joe. She was 32 feet across, 6 ledges of varying lengths. Each ledge only 2¼ inches deep. 2 Americans, Brent Stephenson and Brian Arnold, have ever completed it here at Mount Midoriyama. I love the pace here out of Moravsky. And makes the transition. And there it goes. Look at this. Joe Moravsky passed the ultimate cliff. Well, as a rookie, just blew us away last year, making it to stage 3, and now on truly hallowed ground, puts himself among the greats of this sport. Again, no time limit on stage 3, so he can take a moment to get ready for the next obstacle, the propeller bar.
They say no time limit, but they give you 30 seconds between each obstacle.
Causing so many problems in stage 2. And he's up. There you go. That's an 8-foot propeller spinning 360 degrees. Gotta reach out for that rope. That's it. Just stop that bar. And Moravsky looking so calm, and now he's on the hang climb. He's got to get his feet hooked immediately to take some of that weight off of his upper body. And that's a 45-degree inverted rock wall, 10 feet long. And only Brian Arnold has been able to complete it. You gotta find your footing, know where you're going here.
She's very emotional, but I love her.
Joe Moravsky out on the hang climb.
Yeah, so that was rough. Man, that was rough last year. And to be that close, it's almost a shame. It was a shame because I trained everything, and I even trained rock climbing, but the type of rock climbing I was doing wasn't really, it was getting me stronger, but it wasn't good form. And I never really learned good form until this past year. Like watching it now, I'm almost like, what was I doing? It looked like I didn't even know what I was doing, and it's true. My feet were just below me. I should have had my feet to the side, moving them all around. I've worked with a lot of rock climbers since. One of them being Sean McCall he was on Team Europe last year. You'll see him again this year. He's one of the world's strongest rock climbers, and he's taught me a lot. So, I mean, I'm gonna fast forward to the last one. I was gonna show you the Pittsburgh qualifiers. Well, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna skip it because we're running low on time. This is a preview for tonight. I just heard it was posted.
A 5'10" 5'10", 164, Moravsky, not the most physically intimidating athlete, but do not underestimate his strength. But more importantly, Akbar, I think what makes the weatherman great is his mental fortitude.
Well, his mental fortitude, and it's going to be important for Joe Moravsky here not to be intoxicated by his own greatness.
He expects to be climbing stage 4 for $1 million tonight, but first he's got to get there. Now the double salmon ladder. You can see on his shirt, that's stage 4. That's where he plans to be tonight. Now making the switch to go up the other side. He went up 2 rungs there. And now quickly right into the unstable bridge.
Now remember, he's never fallen on stage 2. Never fallen on any course except stage 3. That's amazing consistency.
This gap, 1.5 feet.
Nice.
Came in this season as the favorite, and he has withstood the pressure.
That's all you get to see. Oh, man. Now, in years past, they've cut videos right there because the person falls right there. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I just want to add a little fear into your heads, that's all. But I'll tell you what, and he said it, Akbar said it, I'm very consistent on the show, and I'll tell you why. My secret is confidence, and I think that's going to go far in your lives, really, really far. And I totally mean it. It goes with everything you want to do. If you are confident doing it, even in your mistakes, if you're confident, you're going to make it through. You're going to persevere. And I think that in times I've doubted myself, I just remind myself that I've trained for this, and I just need to let my body do what I've been doing year-round for the last 3 years. Just stay out of the water. And that's easy enough for me. But you know, in your real life, out in the real world, I mean, just stay persistent. And just remember that life is like a slingshot. And I love this analogy. Because sometimes, you know, to shoot something really far, it has to be pulled back sometimes. So just remember that. If you feel like you're getting pulled back, it could be just because you're on your way to something greater. So, I want to finish with questions. If anyone has any questions.
Do you have a special type of shoe?
I use KOs. They're called no obstacles, like no them. Yeah, these are parkour shoes. So they have really good grip. When they heat up, like let's say I'm sliding down, I don't know, I climb a ramp and then I slide down like a skateboard ramp. When they heat up, they actually don't work as well. So this is, most shoes you would think you gotta like a tire, you almost want to warm it up to get the maximum traction. These are great just cold. So I love these shoes. They don't have to get, you know, warmed up to be grippy. So yeah, you can get those online, noobstacles.com. They're one of my sponsors, really good company. So look into it if you're into parkour or Ninja Warrior. Another question behind, in the back, way back. Yeah, you. I'll give you a better one. Parachi likes this one. I almost put my hand down when I pulled it up. Just trust yourself, confidence, right? Let's go somewhere else. Blue shirt, right there. Yes?
Did you send some autographs?
I was gonna do a giveaway. I have a poster I'll give to somebody for free, and I'll do some autographs. I haven't figured out how I want to do that yet. Maybe I'll leave them with one of the teachers, and they can use it as a reward. You have to actually behave to earn it or something. That sounds pretty awful, right? I think I'll do that. Another question.
When you do your run, can you hear the comments that the commentators are making, and does it ever throw you off?
It's funny. My first year in Baltimore, I was freaking out because it was my first year. I got to the starting block and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. There's a step there, a step there. I'm like, all right, am I going to one step the whole way? No, I'm just going to 3-step. I was going to do this dance. We call it a dance to keep it simple for people that overthink. We call it 3-step dance. So if the step is over here to start, 1, 2, 3. Casey does it really well. I'm going to step to my own foot. It's really easy. So I had that plan, just go into that. And sure enough, I didn't do that at all. my body took over and I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, jumped up the platform and I was like, oh my gosh, I just did one step. I was like, all right, let's roll with it. And as I got down through the next obstacle, I went by Matt and Akbar and I heard like, Joe Moravsky's a weatherman, blah, 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 blah. And it made me smile, but it didn't take me out of my zone. So once in a while you can hear them. And this year at Pittsburgh, the finals run that I skipped over, I think when I got to the top, I kind of looked at them, because you get more comfortable out there. Just like, I think meteorology plays a big role in my success in the show, because I'm comfortable in front of people, in front of the camera, performing on my first try, because meteorology is usually live. If there's no teleprompter, you know, you're speaking right there. And so I feel like that's prepared me a lot mentally for this show. Another question right here. Not including the one that you might see this year. Last year was my best year. Yeah, I made Team USA last year, which was really cool. Yeah, it was just awesome. I went the furthest in the whole country. Oh man, it's so cool to say that. But I also knew that anything could happen this year, so I tried to live it up. And I recommend that, guys. If you ever had this this peak in your life, just remember that all good things kind of dwindle out. Like Michael Jordan was the top guy in basketball, and all right, we're talking about LeBron James now, and even though Michael's still amazing. Let's do 2 more questions. The hardest obstacle, it hasn't been on the show yet, but I'm almost positive it will be next year. It's a stage 3 obstacle. It's called the vertical limit, and let's see. It's pretty much, actually this is very realistic. It's like the width of my phone, right here. You're gonna wrap your hands around a 2x4 and you reach up to a little ledge and you literally just shimmy across that ledge. It's a centimeter, which is 2.54 centimeters per inch, I think. So it's like, what, half an inch? It's nuts. So that's one of the hardest things I've ever done. On the show, I feel like individually the obstacles are not that bad. I've trained to the point where I'm very comfortable on most of them. I think the hardest part is stringing them together. It's definitely the hardest part. One more question, red shirt.
When the fire flared when you jumped above the platform, did it ever startle you?
That's a good question. A lot of the competitors this year, like the rookies that made it to stage 2, they love to use the fire, the pyrotechnics. And we're doing hero shots, we're standing there, they're like, all right, look bad. You know the word. I don't know if I can't say it. And they're like, look bad. And I was like, all right, I got this. And we're all standing there, and all of a sudden, you're like, whoa. And they just shoot the fire all over the place. So when you're on the course, you feel it. Especially, I can remember last year jumping into the metal spin, which is that chain that spins around. At the end of stage 2, I dove to it. It was far. Right when I caught it, I remember the flames. Oh man, it was so cool. It looked even cooler on TV, which is awesome. So I mean, it does play a role, but it doesn't really, for me, I don't let it get in my head because I'm very focused when I compete. I would love to ask more questions, but I want to give away a poster. I want to make it hard. Don't put your hands up, you'll make another question yet. I want to make it hard. It's not the same poster you have here, this is a new one. And you know, if you want me to sign it for you, I'll still sign it for you, that's fine. So I want to do one question. Raise your hand when you think you know the answer, and wait until the question's done. I won't pick a hand that goes up before my question's over. It's going to be the first hand I see go up that I'll try to pick first. I'll try to be as fair as I can. Put it down. All right, in Japan. Hey, wait, let me make sure I have this right. It's going to be a trick question, so tell me. Okay. In Japan, put your hand down. In Japan, yeah, I'm not going to pick you, it's all right. How many times has someone beat the course? Black shirt. Yeah, you.
It was about, come on, Jack.
So remember, how many times have they beat the course? Not how many winners, but how many times has their course been beat?
None.
Good try, you're wrong. You, yellow shirt.
10.
Good try, you're wrong. Hands down, hands down, hands down. All right, hands up. You, blue shirt.
7.
Nope. I'm just gonna start picking random hands now, because I can't do this. Black shirt.
3.
Oh, no, it's not right. Blue. Remember the question, how many times has their course been beaten? Not how many people have beaten it. So, that's not right. Let's go with blue shirt. 1. Nope. Way back, the girl, I think. I can't see back, there's no light. It's a girl. What is it? 11, no. Somebody over here, let's do the Under Armour gray shirt. 5! Now this was the trick. There have been 4 winners. One of the guys won it twice. And the reason there's been 4 winners is because this year somebody won in Japan. And it's not a spoiler. If it was, I apologize, but it's been out since July. So if you didn't know that already, you gotta catch up. Actually, I just caught you up. So when we're done, you can come up and I'll give this to you. All right? I think that's it. I really appreciate you guys having me. Don't forget, tonight, 8 p.m., I will be on NBC taking on Mount Doriyama for the 3rd year.